On this episode, we chat with that friend. Someone who has like a unique everyday skill. Maybe they know how to salsa dance or they play the saxophone. Or like my guest James, they're a bowler. Bowling's one of those activities that most of us associate with like birthday parties or like a reward for winning best team diorama. But for James, it's a way of life. He's been bowling as long as he can remember. From dozing off during his parents' league nights as a kid to seeking out unique bowling lanes while on business trips. We also talk about relationships, and ironically, they're a lot like bowling. Let's jump in.
Growing up, obviously, I was a competitive bowler since the age of 8 years old. And there were some times, and I'm going to say I was maybe a teenager. I think I was a teenager at this point. So this is middle school, high school. I was bowling in tournaments or whatever. And I grew up surrounded by competitive bowlers and many of them are out on the PBA tour right now and have been for a while. These are the kids I bowled youth league with, and there's a pretty hefty list of people that are still very, 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 successful in the sport and have achieved a lot, won a lot, done some pretty incredible things. And there was a tournament that I bowled in that I got so mad, so furious that I was losing to a girl. And she was...
This is obviously before you had daughters, right?
Oh, yeah. She was an incredible bowler, and I knew it. And I messed up. I screwed up. It was all me. And I was so pissed. I literally picked up a chair and threw it probably 4 pairs of lanes down.
No way.
And my mother was there.
Oh.
She got up, walked out of the building, went and sat in the car for the rest of the tournament. And when I finally came out and got in the car, she was like, don't ever do something like that again. You embarrassed me so bad, and she just laced into me for the next half hour on the way home. I mean, it was like I was 2 centimeters tall by the end of that conversation, and it's one of those things. That was one of my wake up calls. I remember that situation so vividly, and I couldn't have been but 13 or 14 years old. And that was one of my wake up calls that, hey, you really got to get this temper in check, because I would get set off by something and I would rage for hours, not raging on people, not beating anybody up, not breaking the law or any crap like that. But I've punched holes in walls. I've punched my fist through a door in my bedroom. I've done stupid stuff like that. But that was one of my wake up calls. And I had a couple of others, throughout the years after that. And then I finally got it a little bit more under control. It's funny how it always seems to center around bowling. Like when I really have the outbursts, I've done things like, rip my shirt off, at the end of a tournament or something because I was pissed I missed a spare or something like that.
Oh, I thought you were going to tell me you won.
No, I didn't win. It wasn't a celebratory rip off. It was like the rip my jersey off and throw it on the ground and stomp on it because I was so mad I lost or whatever. But, and I've don't tell any bowling centers this, but I've beaten up a few paper towel dispensers in bathrooms, and kickball returns and that kind of crap. And I got called out on it a couple of times, and a gentleman that's not with us anymore, unfortunately, a very well-respected member of the bowling community. I was bowling in one of his tournaments. He ran some tournaments in the Dallas-Fort Worth area for a long time. And I had an outburst like that, and he basically called me into the office, and it literally felt like going to the principal's office because I respected the hell out of him. And he said, look, I really like that you bowl my tournaments, but if you ever do anything like that again, you're never going to bowl another one. I will not allow it. And so that was like another one of those big wake up calls, big slap in the face. And, and I deserved it. I 100% deserved it. And it took a few of those before I finally started figuring out how to get that under control, and I had some good coaches. I had some good coaches in college, bowling for Southwest Texas. I had, some good coaches even after then that I worked with that helped me kind of rechannel that frustration into more productive thoughts and more competitive thoughts that would actually help me in my game as opposed to completely disrupt it. Because, everybody knew me, you know, bowling with me growing up and stuff like that, that once I lost my shit, my scores would tank. You know, it's like, you're done. You know, you're not going to shoot anything for the rest of the day because you're so mad, you know, and that's pretty consistent across that sport.
I think that's pretty consistent in life.
Across any sport, you know, you're completely losing focus. You're completely losing everything, that you're just so angry and clouded by anger. You can't function anymore, you know, and that was me. That was me for a lot of years, you know, but I stayed with it.